You ever wonder why some people seem to bend life to their will, while others drift through it like a leaf in the wind? The secret isn't luck. It isn't connections. It's the habits you build when no one's watching. The little things you do consistently that whisper, "I am in control of my destiny." Today, I'm going to show you 8 simple habits that have the power to change your life, not tomorrow, not someday, but starting today. The moment you open your eyes in the morning, the world offers you a choice to react or to create. Most people drift through the early hours, scrolling through notifications, worrying about what's next, or replaying yesterday's failures. But those first moments are sacred. They set the tone for everything else. Starting your day with intention isn't about a complicated routine or a rigid schedule. It's about claiming ownership of your mind before the noise of the world rushes in. It's a quiet, powerful declaration that says, I decide how my day begins, and I decide who I am before anyone else tells me otherwise. Imagine for a moment waking up and taking just 5 minutes to center yourself. No phone buzzing, no endless news updates, just a few deep breaths, a moment of reflection, a clear thought, today is mine. I will approach it with purpose. That's all it takes to shift your mindset from reactive to proactive. Habits like this are deceptively small, yet their impact compounds in ways most people underestimate. Each morning becomes a foundation for clarity, focus, and unstoppable momentum. The brain, like a muscle, responds to consistent training, and when you train it to start your day deliberately, you begin to bend life toward your control instead of being swept along by circumstance. Starting your day with intention also means prioritizing what matters most. Too often, we let urgent tasks, emails, notifications, endless errands dictate our focus. The first hour of the day should be about anchoring yourself in values, goals, and the person you aim to become by asking, what is truly important today? And how can I show up as the best version of myself? You take control of the narrative instead of letting distractions write it for you. This practice creates a mental framework that carries through every interaction, every decision, and every challenge you face. A day begun without intention is like a ship set adrift. A day begun with it is a ship steering confidently toward its destination, no matter the storms. Physical rituals also reinforce this habit. Exercise, stretching, or even a brisk walk in the fresh air engages your body and primes your mind for the day ahead. Our mental state is inextricably tied to our physical state. When you intentionally move your body in the morning, you release tension, sharpen focus, and signal to your brain that this day is not just another repetition. It is an opportunity to grow, create, and win. Pair this with a moment of mindfulness or journaling, and you create a daily practice that not only boosts productivity, but strengthens emotional resilience. Over time, these consistent actions compound into a sense of invincibility because your mind has been trained to start every day with clarity and purpose. Finally, the habit of intentional mornings builds an unshakable sense of self-mastery. When you claim the first hour of your day, you assert control over the only thing you can truly control, yourself. Life will throw distractions, pressures, and chaos at you, but if you have established the practice of beginning with intention, you carry a calm center into the storm. The strength you cultivate in these early hours ripples outward, affecting your work, your relationships, and your ability to overcome adversity. You no longer wait for external circumstances to define you. You define your circumstances. You wake up with purpose, and in doing so, you begin to live a life of deliberate action, unwavering focus, and extraordinary potential. Discipline is not about grand gestures or dramatic sacrifices. It is about the small choices you make consistently. Those moments when no one is watching, when the easy option tempts you, when your instincts whisper, give up. Real discipline is the quiet force that shapes your life, far more powerful than talent, luck, or opportunity. It lives in the simple, seemingly insignificant decisions, finishing the task you started, keeping a promise to yourself, saying no to distraction, and staying committed when the world offers comfort over progress. These small acts of self-control are the building blocks of strength, and when practiced daily, they transform ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. Consider the power of showing up when you don't feel like it. Every person has days when motivation wanes and excuses appear. It's easy to delay, to postpone, to settle for less. But discipline is built in these moments. The simple act of following through, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable, reinforces a belief in your own reliability. You begin to trust yourself, not because of external validation, but because you have proven time and again that your word matters. The promises you make to yourself are sacred. Over time, these small victories accumulate into a momentum that feels unstoppable, a silent engine propelling you forward, even when life becomes chaotic. Discipline also manifests in resisting the lure of instant gratification. In a world designed to distract you, to satisfy cravings immediately, exercising restraint becomes an act of rebellion against mediocrity. Skipping the easy pleasure in favor of long-term gain is a skill, a muscle that grows stronger every time you choose patience over impulse. Whether it's choosing a healthy meal instead of junk food, reading instead of scrolling, or saving instead of spending, these small acts of control compound into a lifestyle that nurtures growth, resilience, and power. Life rewards those who master the art of delay, the ones who understand that the small choices of today are the giants of tomorrow. Another dimension of discipline is structure and consistency. When you cultivate daily habits, waking up early, planning your day, dedicating time to learning, exercising your body, you create a framework that reduces chaos and increases efficiency. Discipline isn't about punishing yourself, it's about designing your life in a way that aligns with your values and goals. Consistency in the small things builds trust in your own capabilities. You begin to realize that the person you become is the sum of the choices you make repeatedly, and that every small act of discipline is a vote for the future version of yourself you want to embody. Discipline also strengthens your mental resilience. Life is unpredictable, full of challenges that test patience, courage, and commitment. The daily practice of self-control trains your mind to endure discomfort, to persevere in adversity, and to stay focused on what truly matters. It becomes a muscle that enables you to face setbacks without surrendering, to maintain focus when distractions arise, and to act decisively even under pressure. By mastering the small things, you build a mental fortitude that prepares you for the big battles, the defining moments when the stakes are highest. Ultimately, exercising discipline in small things is the path to freedom. Many mistake discipline for restriction, but in truth, it liberates you from the chaos of impulsivity and the tyranny of external circumstances. When you have control over your choices, your responses, and your habits, you are no longer a passenger in your own life. You have become the captain of your destiny. Each small act of self-control, each disciplined choice, is a declaration that you are the one shaping your life. The compound effect of these daily decisions transforms not only your productivity, but your confidence, your relationships, and your ability to navigate the challenges of existence with grace and strength. Learning is not just a phase of life. It is the lifeblood of growth, the engine that propels you forward when the world seems stagnant. Most people stop learning after school or when they feel comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of progress. The habit of embracing learning daily separates those who drift through life from those who shape it. Learning sharpens your mind, expands your perspective, and equips you to navigate uncertainty with confidence. Every day presents a choice to grow or to stagnate, to remain small or to evolve. The question is, which path will you take? Consider the simple act of reading for just 10 minutes a day. It may seem insignificant, almost trivial, yet over time, it compounds into enormous advantage. Books, articles, podcasts, and even conversations are portals into minds that have solved problems, overcome obstacles, and envisioned possibilities far beyond your own experience. Each small habit of learning increases your mental vocabulary, expands your creative capacity, and strengthens your ability to see connections that others miss. In a world crowded with distraction, the person who invests in their mind consistently gains the upper hand, quietly and inevitably. Learning also teaches humility. When you approach each day with the mindset that you don't know everything, that there is always more to understand, you open yourself to new experiences and perspectives. This humility is not weakness. It is strength. It allows you to admit mistakes, adapt to change, and absorb wisdom from unlikely sources. The habit of daily learning trains you to remain curious, alert, and resilient, even when life challenges your assumptions or tests your patience. It is in this humility that true growth takes root, because the mind that refuses to stop learning refuses to stop evolving. Beyond acquiring knowledge, learning every day strengthens your problem-solving abilities. Life will inevitably present obstacles, some predictable, others not. By engaging your mind daily, reading, reflecting, practicing, asking questions, you train yourself to think critically, to see beyond the surface, and to devise solutions before crises arrive. You cultivate mental agility, a flexibility that allows you to pivot when necessary without panic or frustration. Learning transforms you into a person who anticipates challenges instead of reacting to them, who creates opportunities where others see only barriers, and who commands life instead of being commanded by it. The habit of daily learning also nurtures resilience. Knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is invincibility. Every insight gained, every skill practiced, every perspective understood equips you to handle adversity with confidence. When failure or hardship arises, you do not panic. You analyze, adapt, and act. The person who has trained themselves to learn continually is like a warrior who never stops sharpening their sword. They are prepared for the battles life throws at them, and their victories are not accidental. They are the inevitable result of preparation, dedication, and a relentless pursuit of improvement. Finally, embracing learning every day is an affirmation of your potential. It is a declaration that you refuse to settle for mediocrity, that you will not be defined by circumstances, limitations, or past failures. Each day that you invest in knowledge is a vote for the future version of yourself, the version who is stronger, wiser, more capable, and more powerful than you are today. Learning becomes more than a habit. It becomes a lifestyle, a force that shapes your choices, your confidence, and your destiny. Through this commitment, you step into a life of mastery, not by chance, but by relentless, deliberate growth. The people you choose to spend your time with shape your destiny more than almost anything else. Energy, mindset, and habits are contagious, and if you surround yourself with negativity, doubt, or complacency, it will slowly seep into your own life. Conversely, being around those who are driven, disciplined, and intentional elevates your standards, fuels your ambition, and challenges you to become more than you thought possible. The habit of curating your circle isn't selfish, it is essential. It is the silent, invisible force that strengthens your character and guides your growth even when no one is watching. Consider the subtle ways influence works. You don't just adopt the behaviors of those around you. You absorb their beliefs, their attitudes, their expectations. If you spend time with people who complain, procrastinate, or settle, it becomes easier to justify doing the same. But if you immerse yourself in the company of those who push limits, who value integrity and hard work, you can't help but rise to meet their standard. Surrounding yourself with the right people is like planting seeds in fertile soil. The environment you choose determines whether you grow wild and strong or whether in mediocrity. Choosing your inner circle also requires courage. It often means letting go of familiar relationships that no longer serve your growth, even if there is comfort in the familiarity. True growth is uncomfortable. It demands that you face the truth about who is lifting you up and who is holding you back. This is not about abandoning friends. It is about protecting your energy and prioritizing the relationships that challenge you to become the best version of yourself. When you make this intentional choice, you surround yourself with mentors, collaborators, and allies who reflect the qualities you aspire to cultivate. The right people inspire accountability. When your circle consists of driven, ambitious, and ethical individuals, their habits, standards, and expectations become a mirror for your own actions. Their success challenges you, not through competition, but through example. They make you ask hard questions. Am I doing enough? Am I living up to my potential? Am I disciplined, intentional, and courageous enough to match their energy? This constant reflection and challenge cultivate growth in ways that solo effort rarely can. The habit of consciously choosing those who influence you becomes a multiplier for your own progress. Moreover, surrounding yourself with the right people provides perspective. Life is unpredictable, full of twists, failures, and unexpected victories. Trusted allies offer wisdom, guidance, and support when you face difficult decisions or moments of doubt. They hold space for your growth while gently correcting your course when you stray. They celebrate your victories with sincerity and challenge your excuses with love. In these relationships, you find both the encouragement to push forward and the honest feedback that prevents stagnation. No person achieves greatness in isolation. Your circle becomes the scaffolding that supports your ascent. Ultimately, the habit of surrounding yourself with the right people is about choosing influence over convenience. You are deciding what energy, values, and mindset you allow to shape your life. The people you spend time with either raise your ceiling or lower it. They either inspire courage or nurture fear. By being intentional, you take control of your social ecosystem and protect your path toward growth, success, and fulfillment. Surrounding yourself with the right people doesn't just improve your life, it transforms it. You become a reflection of the highest qualities you allow into your inner circle, and through this conscious choice, you accelerate your journey toward your ultimate potential. The moment you stop blaming others is the moment you reclaim your power. Life is full of circumstances beyond your control. People will disappoint you. Events will go wrong. And the world will test you in ways you never imagined. But how you respond is always within your control. Taking responsibility is not about self-blame. It is about embracing ownership of your actions, your mindset, and your future. It is the habit that turns obstacles into opportunities and failures into lessons. The person who takes responsibility does not wait for permission or validation. They act, adapt, and grow no matter what comes their way. Consider the difference between reacting and responding. When you blame external forces, you give your power away. You become a passenger, swept along by the whims of circumstance. But when you take full responsibility, you reclaim control. You see setbacks not as dead ends, but as information, data points that guide your next move. This mindset allows you to navigate challenges with clarity and resilience. Every time you accept ownership of a situation, you strengthen the part of yourself that decides your fate. Responsibility is not a burden. It is freedom in disguise. Taking responsibility also builds credibility and trust in personal relationships, in professional settings, and in life at large. People notice those who own their choices. When you admit mistakes, correct them, and move forward with integrity, you signal reliability and maturity. Conversely, constant blame and excuses erode trust, respect, and influence. By making responsibility a habit, you elevate yourself above the crowd. People are drawn to those who act with accountability because they know these individuals are predictable in their integrity, consistent in their efforts, and unstoppable in their pursuit of growth. Responsibility transforms failures into stepping stones. No one avoids failure entirely, but the way you handle it determines your trajectory. Excuses lead to stagnation, but ownership leads to action. When you take responsibility for your setbacks, you dissect them, learn from them, and prevent repetition. You gain insight into your own strengths and weaknesses, and you empower yourself to make better choices moving forward. Every failure becomes a lesson, every mistake a blueprint for improvement. The habit of taking responsibility rewires your mindset from victimhood to mastery. Another profound aspect of responsibility is the sense of control it gives over your emotions. Life will test your patience, provoke anger, or induce fear, but when you accept responsibility for your reactions, you regain emotional sovereignty. No one else makes you feel a certain way. Your feelings are always your own. By owning your emotions, you free yourself from the chaos caused by external events and people. You no longer live at the mercy of circumstances. Instead, you respond deliberately, calmly, and with a focus on solutions rather than blame. Emotional discipline becomes a natural extension of personal accountability. Ultimately, the habit of taking responsibility is a declaration of self-mastery. It signals that you will not let circumstances dictate your life. You are accountable for your actions, your growth, your relationships, and your future. Life will test everyone, but those who consistently take ownership do not falter. They adapt, they persevere, and they thrive. Responsibility is not just a principle. It is a transformative force that turns ordinary individuals into architects of their destiny. By embracing this habit, you step into a life of purpose, power, and unwavering control over the direction you choose to follow. Gratitude is more than a polite thank you. It is a lens through which life itself transforms, a force that changes how you perceive every moment, every challenge, and every opportunity. Most people focus on what is missing, the opportunities they didn't get, the setbacks they endured, the injustices they face. But practicing gratitude shifts your focus to what you already have, to the victories, lessons, and blessings that surround you, even in the smallest forms. When you make this a habit, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming an architect of your mindset. The act of gratitude rewires your brain. Scientific studies show that people who practice daily gratitude experience higher levels of positivity, reduced stress, and greater resilience. But beyond science, gratitude is a conscious choice, a decision to see abundance in life rather than scarcity. When you start and end each day acknowledging what you are thankful for, you train yourself to notice the good that is often overlooked. A simple reflection, a journal entry, or even a moment of silent recognition for what you have can shift your mindset from frustration to empowerment, from envy to inspiration, from despair to hope. Gratitude also strengthens your relationships. When you express appreciation for others, their support, their guidance, their presence, you build deeper trust, connection, and loyalty. People respond to acknowledgement, It validates their efforts and fosters reciprocity. A person who habitually practices gratitude creates an environment of positivity and encouragement. Their energy uplifts others, attracting more of the same, and in turn, they reinforce their own sense of abundance. Gratitude is contagious, and by making it a habit, you influence not only your own mindset, but the energy of everyone around you. Moreover, gratitude fosters resilience in the face of challenges. Life will inevitably bring trials, setbacks, and losses, but a grateful mindset allows you to find the lessons, the hidden opportunities, and the strengths you didn't know you had. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, you focus on what remains, what you can control, and what you can learn. Gratitude doesn't erase difficulties. It empowers you to face them with clarity and courage. The person who practices it relentlessly develops a mental toughness that cannot be shaken by circumstances because their perspective is grounded in what is already abundant. The habit of gratitude also amplifies success. When you recognize and celebrate progress, no matter how small, you reinforce behaviors that lead to growth. Gratitude shifts attention from frustration and impatience to acknowledgement and encouragement, creating a feedback loop that fuels motivation. Every time you appreciate the steps you have taken, you give yourself permission to continue to expand, to excel. Gratitude becomes the foundation for sustained effort because it transforms discipline, persistence, and focus into acts of self-celebration rather than burdensome obligation. Finally, practicing gratitude relentlessly is an affirmation of life itself. It declares that no matter the setbacks, no matter the failures, you recognize the richness of your journey and the opportunities still ahead. It cultivates joy, perspective, and peace in a world that constantly pushes stress, comparison, and dissatisfaction. By embracing this habit, you align yourself with abundance rather than lack, possibility rather than limitation, hope rather than despair. Gratitude becomes not just a practice, but a lifestyle, a force that elevates your mindset, your resilience, and your ability to shape a life that is not only successful, but deeply fulfilling. Every habit you cultivate, every choice you make, every person you allow into your life, they all shape the story you are living. The 8 simple habits we've explored: starting your day with intention, exercising discipline in small things, embracing learning every day, surrounding yourself with the right people, taking responsibility always, and practicing gratitude relentlessly are not just actions. They are declarations. Declarations that you refuse to drift through life, that you refuse to let circumstances define you, and that you are the author of your own destiny. Change does not come in a single moment. It comes in the daily decisions, the consistent actions, the habits that no one sees, but everyone eventually notices. It comes when you rise before the world expects you to, when you choose patience over impulse, when you open your mind to growth and your heart to gratitude. These habits are not difficult, they are deliberate. And their power is exponential. One small change today can ripple into a lifetime of transformation. You may not feel different tomorrow. You may stumble, you may fail, and the world may push back harder than you imagined. But the person who consistently chooses intention over distraction, discipline over comfort, learning over stagnation, positive influence over toxicity, accountability over blame, and gratitude over complaint, this person is unstoppable. This person becomes the embodiment of potential realized, of greatness lived, and of life fully claimed. So now it's your turn, not next week, not when the timing feels right, today. Take one habit, commit to it, and let it grow. Build momentum. Stack one intentional action on top of another until your life becomes a reflection of the discipline, focus, wisdom, and gratitude you have cultivated. There is no one holding your life in their hands but you. The question is simple: will you wait or will you rise? The choice is yours. And when you choose intentionally, when you choose consistently, when you choose relentlessly, you will find that life does not happen to you. It happens because of you.